Welcome to the Etobicoke Lakeshore Podcast, friends. My name is Mike, and I get to host a wonderful show about South Etobicoke and the surrounding areas with that guy right there. There's Roger Tumanieri, publisher of the Etobicoke Lakeshore Press. Hi, buddy.
Hey, Mike. How you doing today?
I couldn't be better. Pinch me. No? Okay.
I wish I was in studio to pinch you.
Yeah,
I probably do more than pinch you, though.
You know what's so funny is
maybe I'm better off here.
I took advantage of the fact that you're on Zoom to say that. I would never in person have said that. Listen, by the way, in the background, you can hear the chuckles and laughter of our good friend Derek from Humber College, and we'll get to that discussion in just a couple of minutes. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, now another edition of the ELPod is out, and that's this. But there is a new edition of the Etobicoke Lakeshore Press out as well. Let's have a little chat about that before we get going.
Yeah, great idea, Mike. It's sitting at the printers right now. It's going to press. It'll hit homes before the kids go back to school. And this one was chock full of content, so much so that I actually had to create a digital publication to house all that overflow content, which is kind of exciting to me. But we've got Humber College Lakeshore Campus on the cover of this edition, which is totally fitting as we go back to school. But this year's not like other years. So there's a lot of great stories in there, not the least of which is the cover feature, which is a longer one than normal. It's a 4-page editorial feature about Humber Lakeshore Campus. But we've also got some varying opinions about to homeschool or not to homeschool, and the idea of whether or not we should be sending our kids to school or keeping them at home. So it's a very very topical, very divisive topic that we tried to cover.
No, it's not. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to be divisive. I thought if we got it out of the way now. That sounds like a fascinating approach to this entire issue, and I'll tell you why. It was almost the first thing Derek and I talked about out of the gate, and whether he was in that category or in that field or not, we were just, it's that time. We all want to know what's going to happen, and there's so much. So we'll get that update in a couple minutes. By the way, subscribe to this podcast. Go right ahead. It's absolutely free. Although if you'd like to send some bucks to your buddy Mike, forget it. We'll talk about this another time. I will recommend you go to EtobicokeLakeshorePress.com, and the new digital version of that will be right there for you. And if you live in the area, it'll probably be delivered to your home shortly for you to enjoy. Let's talk about today's guest. Now, this is great, Derek, because now you get to be here and hear the Letterman-esque style of setup right here before you. No pressure, Roger. Tell us about today's guest.
Today's guest is Derek Stockley. He's the principal and a senior dean at Humber College Lakeshore Campus. He's been on the podcast before, and I believe we did that one remotely because it was during the pandemic. So we're really pleased to have you in studio today, Derek.
Yeah, great to be here.
This is a pretty busy time for you. I know you guys would be ramping up, and I'm sure you've got, how should I say this, maybe different issues, different fish to fry right now as we move towards the beginning of school during a pandemic.
Yeah. It's a different buzz, I bet, for you guys over there right now.
Absolutely, absolutely. Usually the September is a time of excitement, right? Time of renewal. Everyone is eager to get their kids back to school, and we're eager to start up. But also some anxiety this year, lots of anxiety, and it's it's everywhere. So it's how do you deal with both?
Yeah, and of course, when we spoke to you last time, Roger, you might recall they were reacting and pivoting quickly. As students had just had to leave the campus. It had been closed down, and it was amazing to both Roger and I how quickly, you might recall, we were blown away, how quickly you guys responded to online education.
Yeah, no, and just a testament to the entire staff and faculty, right? And like I shared before, it wasn't just the classes, it was all the services as well. Couldn't believe how quickly they were able to get counseling online, health services online, all the student supports. Like, it was literally everybody figuring out how to do it. And, can't applaud them enough.
And what was the feedback from students on that front? Because normally students are not all that complimentary, but even I noticed on the socials, hey, Humber, you're really doing it.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw that too. And we did a survey just to the summer students, and what they're saying is they're liking it. They're liking the opportunities to connect. They want the synchronous opportunities. One of the beautiful things about being online is this idea that you can do it anytime, anywhere, but still our students want those chances to connect. And that makes sense when you step back and see where we are. So we're seeing that, and I see it as well on social. It's interesting. I see students saying, "I hated it at the beginning, but I liked it at the end." Right? This isn't what I signed up for. This isn't what I wanted to do, but a reluctant kind of. Actually, I got a lot out of this, and I'm seeing the world differently.
It's funny that you say that, because this is an accomplishment. I mean, not just the way that we know that it is. We've all participated as best we could as great citizens.
Yes.
And we asked that of youth alongside us. Not so much kids, but certainly, like we talked about, universities all had to bug out pretty quickly. Post-secondary overall, high school, all of the key years of becoming a young adult, we asked something major. And they should feel proud at this point that they were part of the solution.
Absolutely. I keep saying if I could award an extra diploma in resiliency, I would for every student that was able to cross the finish line. And I mean, not just for programs. There's lots of students that were graduating this year, even getting through courses, right? Getting through courses. So, resiliency was the piece that kept coming up for me, especially like these are students that are living lives outside of the classroom as well, and overcoming obstacles that are just phenomenal.
It's really tough, and of course, you both have kids.
Yep.
They're going through education. As we head back, and I love that you guys covered this off in this edition, Roger. Boy, it's a conundrum on so many fronts, depending on how old your kid is and where they are in the education process.
Yeah.
What to do? There's social pressure. There's medical knowledge.
Yeah.
There's procedures and policies and new things that you have to put your kid through.
Yeah.
Or do you keep them home?
Yeah.
It's. I think it's really the toughest time on education ever.
Yeah, I remember responding to a parent who reached out this summer who was desperate to have her kid come back to class and listed a dozen reasons why we should be running in-person classes, and it was all about the person, right? It's all about how life is much better. And I responded with two hats on. I said, as the principal of the campus, here's why we're not running it, and here's why the decision is the right one. But as a parent of a kid who's in post-secondary and a kid who's in high school, I get what you're saying. Yeah. I see your list. I'm living your list. And I agree. We need to find ways to get these students back into classes. We need to find ways to get them connecting in person, and all that's true. And at the same time, we need to prioritize safety.
All right. Well, let's dispel this thought. Oh, post-secondary is going to use this as an excuse to take everybody online, and that whole community is going to disappear forever. I don't believe that's true, is it?
No, it can't be. No, and in fact, we have 7,000 students coming back to classes this fall, right? Because there's stuff we can't teach in online. There's things that you need to. You don't want a nurse giving you a needle that's only ever done that virtually. You don't want someone driving the trucks down the highway that's only ever done this using a video game, right? And the same with the soft skills pieces. You don't want someone counseling your family who's never seen a person in person, right? So
that makes sense. Yeah.
So for sure, and I'm a little biased as the principal of the Lakeshore Campus, but that it's a beautiful space. It's more than what's happening in the classes, right? It's also what's happening outside, and yet you lose those pieces.
Roger, when I went to Humber College and I went to the North Campus, the Arboretum was a major deal. We walked there between classes. We talked. You know what I mean? There were spaces on the campus, and Lakeshore, and we talk about this, Roger, all the time. It's one of the most beautiful parks to be at, let alone that it's a campus.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Oh, by far, it's one of the most beautiful campuses I would imagine in Ontario. It's just a beautiful, natural setting in which to learn. Yeah. And I would imagine that that's a nice selling point for folks to, hey, come to Humber Lakeshore. Look at how beautiful it is.
No, entirely.
Right? Like it's such a nice place.
Well, and it's amazing how many students will show up at open house and say, I belong here, and I knew that when I was walking around. I felt at home, right? I felt a piece of that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing how much the spaces between the classes makes the spaces in the classes that much more special. And further to the point, it's a good question. Does this mean the revolution is here?
Yeah.
Post-sec will only be online.
The man's impressing us. Look at this. Right. What are you doing over there? Yeah.
Yet, we're still moving forward with the building, right? 340,000 square feet of building, and the new cultural hub. That's that activity is taking place, and we're not pressing pause. We're moving forward. We need those spaces, not just to play and learn in, but for the community as well. So yeah.
Now, this is good news. That makes me feel great, by the way, that, the plan is we're going back to campus.
Yes. Yeah.
And, that means that you're gradually doing that. 7,000 students going back this year. And as we're talking about spaces, that's a different arrangement too. So I would imagine that you've had to make some adjustments for social distancing. And what are some of the new things that you'll have to do to get them on campus?
Great questions. A number of things. So we have everything starting with an attestation form for people to understand exactly what is happening. So here's what we expect of you coming on board, right? We have students and staff, anyone who's attending campus will fill out a health screening form every day, and we'll be screening for that.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
And then, talking about the reimagining the spaces, there's signage everywhere, directional signages, plexiglass where it needs to be. We've gone into every classroom where there'll be a student and figured out the physical distancing piece. We've worked with facilities. We've worked with our with the faculty and the staff, and we've created the labs where you can maintain that distance, where you can maintain the 6 feet, and where you can't, other precautions are in place. So, we're training every single one of our staff and faculty about health and safety in this time of COVID. We have a myriad of videos for people to see so they know what to expect. 7,000 sounds like a lot, but that's across both campuses, and we usually have about 33,000. So It's still going to look really different.
But it's interesting to me that that's the number, because it's a staged number.
Yeah.
Okay, we started with 7,000. We made that work, and everything's going nicely. Now let's apply what we've learned to the campus side of things. And by the way, application of education. While we might not go to online learning, we're really adept at being able to do it that way if need be. And so if you needed to augment things like a teacher-student time, extra help, as it were, extra labs or presentations.
Oh, exactly.
All of that now, we're all going to be really good at. So it's only going to enhance it, right?
Yeah, and normalize it. Now it's, you have that expert over in the UK that you want to bring into your classroom, and no one's going to blink when, we're going to have it at 8:00 tonight on your computer. Yeah. Not in this classroom between 3 and 6 every Tuesday.
It's fantastic. Right? It's very encouraging, in fact, that the pivot has expanded our horizon for educating.
Yeah, and I think, the industry was headed there. This is just, as with many, many industries, right?
Of course.
Education isn't unique that way, but it's really made us get there a heck of a lot faster.
Yeah.
2 weeks, I think, was when it was,
Right? Roger, do you remember that? You and I were both, even after the interview, I called you and said, there's no way they did that in 2 weeks. Like, how did that even happen?
I remember. Yeah, 30,000 kids online. Boom.
Yeah.
Like almost overnight. Yeah, it was really impressive.
Yeah.
Indeed, yeah. All right, now listen, if people wanted to find out more about the status, if they're a student or they're thinking about trying to figure out what to do in the fall.
Yeah.
But here's another thing that I just occurred to me. You might be registered someplace else. You might be partway through a program. You might think to yourself, I'm pushing pause on my education at the moment. And I'm hearing that from people.
Yes.
Until this is all straight.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that with the students in my life
sure.
making this decision. But the one thing that I will say is, if you're local and you're trying to keep current, you're trying to find programs that would be concurrent to what you're doing maybe someplace else, I would definitely check in at Humber College.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, and I agree.
Yeah.
Humber.ca, great place to start. You can check out the programs from there that are still open and that are opening in January as well. And you can also get information about what else is happening, right? How is Humber responding to the pandemic? And if you're a current student, the information's there as well, including how to support yourself online, how to do life online as a student.
Not your grandfather's principal, this Derek. He's a very modern man. You know what I'm saying? And not the archetypical. Man, it's been a delight having you in and talking to you about this, because as I say, I think it is really helpful to everybody to know that you've got a calm, cool, collected approach to this. As a parent, I'm like, what are these schools doing? Well, they're doing this, and here's why. Get yourself educated. Check it at Humber College. And find out more. Roger, where can people get in touch with you if they'd like to find out more about the Etobicoke Lakeshore Media Enterprise?
Well, they can email me directly at etobicoke-lakeshore-press@gmail.com, or check out the website at etobicoke-lakeshore-press.com.
More about Humber College and the Lakeshore Campus, what they're doing there, come this fall, and a focus on education in the new edition of the Etobicoke Lakeshore Press. Guys, thanks a lot. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks again.
Thanks, Frank. Thanks, Derek.
Take care.